What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and today I wanted to go over the YouTube ranking for the Democratic candidates for president. And oddly enough, Ms. Gabbard comes out number one, followed by Andrew Yang, and then Bernie Sanders. That's the top three. So stick around if you want to see the whole methodology of how this research was done. And if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to freaking see you. You had better be pressing that thumbs up button. Now let's get into it. Okay, so what do we have here? Social Blade is a website that tracks social media profiles across a bunch of different platforms. So you can see over here we have YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And what we're comparing here is we're taking a look at as Ms. Gabbard, and the four factors that we took a look at in our research were the total number of subscribers that they've gained over the last 30 days. So we stack ranked all the candidates from the most amount of subscribers down to the least amount of subscribers. Then we took a growth rate in the last 2 weeks of their subscribers to see how quickly they're growing in the very short term in the last 30 days. 2 weeks. And we'd stack rank them. Who had the highest growth? Who had the lowest growth? And then the two other factors, and then I'll get into why we did some of this way, is the total number of views over the last 30 days, because that's ultimately just the number of people that you're getting in front of, or impressions. The impressions are significantly higher than that, but the number of people who are actually consuming the content to some degree or another. And we stack rank those from highest to lowest number of views. And then lastly, we did a growth rate in the past 2 weeks. How quickly were their overall views going? So that will tell an interesting story as well. Now, the reason we calculate growth rates and we have the absolute numbers because they're both valuable pieces of information. The growth rate standardizes across the board, meaning if my channel has 1 million subscribers and your channel has 10 million, and we each grow at 1 million subscribers over the last 2 weeks, which one would be doing better, right? We both grew at 1 million, but my growth rate was 100%, and yours is 10%. So it's 10. I'm growing 10 times faster, right? So that's why we have the growth rates, so that we can standardize all the data. But we also want to recognize that the absolute number of views and the absolute number of subscribers is actually probably pretty valuable information. And so that, taking all that together, we come up with an average where we take the total number of subscribers and the total number of views, and each of those factors represent 35% of the total average. And the last two factors are the growth rates. They're important, but they're not as important as the absolute numbers. So they represent 15% of the average. And when we plug all that into a spreadsheet, this is what we come up with. So we have Gabbard as number one. She has just completely exploded since this last debate in all the rankings that we are taking a look at. Andrew Yang seems to be losing a little bit of steam potentially. Potentially, I will have the overall power rankings, which this is just one factor in the power rankings. So make sure you subscribe if you want to catch the power rankings, where we take the Google search volume, the YouTube search volume, their website, their social media growth rates, and their donations, and we put it all together in the same way to come up with one overall number for who is number one in the American public's mind. So make sure you press the subscribe button if you want to follow along with that. Now, rounding out the top five, we have Pete Buttigieg as number 4, and number 5 is actually Tommy. Wow, that's interesting. I did not look at this beforehand. Tom Steyer is number 5 on YouTube. So that is kind of interesting. I'm not even going to go through the rest of them. We'll just round out the top 5. But I do want to point out a couple interesting things here. So we're going to look at the subscribers over here. And you can see that there's only 3 people who are gaining over 10,000 or more subscribers. And that's Andrew Yang, Bernie Sanders, and Gabbard. So there's 3 people that are really just like substantially growing more than everybody else. Like a lot of the, look at this, like Kamala Harris has 190 subscribers, right? Like a shitload of people who know who Kamala Harris is, and yet her YouTube channel is growing slower than mine. That doesn't make any sense. Like something, you know what I mean? Like why, what is happening if she's just not capitalizing on this attention and not using it as a correct way? If you just repurpose content from one platform to another platform, it's not going to work, but you got to put the content out there specific for the audience on that platform. And maybe that's why, because a lot of the people are growing at very, very meager amounts. The next, let's take a look at the growth rates on both of these things, and then we're going to touch on the views really quickly. So the growth rates, again, Gabbard, Amy is growing really fast, but you can see Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders is only growing at like 4%, but his channel is substantially larger than everybody else's. So let's come over here to the growth rate, at the end. I'm sorry, the growth rate of the views over the past 2 weeks, which is, again, there's 3 or 4 people that are growing in double digits. That's Pete, Yang, Amy, and Gabbard. Amy's channel is like basically non-existent, so I think she has less than 1,000 subscribers. So if you have such a low base, 30% growth rate is cool. That's awesome. But it's like super fucking tiny. So that talks about what's really big here is the number of fucking views that Gabbard is getting over the past 30 days. Look at this. She's had over 5.6 million views on her channel. More than triple anybody else. And Bernie Sanders had 1.8 million. And if you just take the 3 of those people, right? Bernie, Gabbard, and Yang together, you have the only 3 people who have more than 1 million views in a month. Everybody else is substantially less. Like Julian Castro only had 2,000 views. I'm getting about 2,000 per day over the last few days. Like some of this is very, very interesting and telling, but 5.6 million views. There's something going on with Gabbard. I don't know what it is, because I don't actually pay attention to what is happening in the news or in terms of the context of any of these conversations. But if you guys have any thoughts or you know what is going on down below, I do read comments even if I don't really look at the news or anything. And one of the things that I like to do as I read through the comments, and this is actually separate, but at the end of the video, if you leave a comment, then I can jump in at the end of these videos and actually answer and respond to some of your comments. So if you want, use the hashtag STOLT in your comment, and then I will definitely try to get it, okay? So hashtag STOLT and then your comment, and then we will answer it at the end of one of our videos. So make sure you press that subscribe button as well. So right now we're gonna jump in. This is from One Love, One Heart. I love the name. Thank you so much for the comment. I don't believe the political polls are representing Gabbard correctly. I would agree. I haven't looked at anything from Real Clear Politics from for a while now, but I don't think she was even in the top 10. However, look at the video we just made. Her YouTube channel has a buckload of attention right now. The next one we have here is from Sonic Prop 97. And he's like, yo, by the way, yo, what's good? Let's donate to Yang Andrews' campaign. He needs 630,000 in 2 days. So a lot of times in marketing, you use like a scare tactic or something, or like you try to make it into a competition to get people to donate more quickly. So that's more than likely what that is. Not that they actually need $630,000. It's more just an arbitrary thing to try to stimulate people in a different way to raise more money, but they probably don't need it, especially after their last campaign, their last quarter of donations. Now, if you enjoy this style and what we're trying to do here by representing what the American public is actually interested in, share this video with somebody else. It really does help out the channel a lot, and hopefully it shares a different perspective with whoever you decide to share this with. If you like the video but you didn't like it that much to share it with somebody else, or you don't have any friends, then press that thumbs up button, and I will be your friend. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Peace.